Buenos dias. Good morning. I hope you are well, staying positive and focused on what you can control. My name is Patricia Mota, and I'm currently serving as President and CEO for the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, or HACE, a national nonprofit organization whose mission is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent, providing our community the insight, access, and development to be successful in their careers. This year, our theme is Hace Más, doing more for your career, doing more for Latino talent, and doing more to lead, all with intentionality, transparency, and accountability. I'm excited for this theme, especially for next week when we'll be talking about so many great topics, feature a lot of great leaders like the one that I'll get to introduce you to shortly regarding this topic and so much more at our National Leadership Summit next week, April 21st and 22nd. We will have a special edition of our Cafecito con HACE during that event. And so we look forward for you to join us during this hybrid opportunity, whether you're in person or virtually. And also, you may have seen Mujeres de HACE has an inaugural Latinas in Tech cohort. If you are interested in that opportunity or know a Latina in tech, not only will this help with their career trajectory, but also building the pipeline of other Latinas in tech. The deadline is this Friday, April 15th. So please check out our HACE website for more information on that. Now, I get the special privilege of introducing you to our special guest speaker today, Gabriela Rojas, who is the Vice President of DePuy Synthes Global Strategic Capabilities at Johnson & Johnson. Buenos dias. Good morning, Gabriela.
Yes, Patricia.
So happy to have you here with us today. Our first question with our Cafecito con HACE guests, and I hope you all have your morning beverage of choice, is what is your preference for the morning? Salud.
Oh, Patricia, I am a coffee snob. I was born in Costa Rica, lived 18 years of my life in Colombia. My husband is from a place called the Eje Cafetero, which is where all the coffee is grown, and we are coffee snobs. I do a great job of selecting the coffee that I am going to grind. I grind my coffee, and then I French press it with boiling water, and I leave it for 4 minutes. It takes me about 15 minutes to get a good cup of coffee going, but that is my preferred. I'm not allowed to say whether I prefer Costa Rican or Colombian.
That was my next question.
No, I cannot, because it will generate some issues at home. So,
all right. So for those of you that have a preference, let's hear in the chat your coffee. So from Costa Rica, had lived some time in Colombia. I'm sure you'd enjoy them both equally.
Absolutely. Best coffees in the world.
Best coffees in the world. Wow. Well, I love the process behind it that it takes for you to enjoy that great cup of coffee. We love our coffee here at HACE. We've had some unique stories and preferences in the morning, so I think it's great. If you're new joining us, those in the chat, we'd love to hear what's your morning beverage of choice. Bienvenidos, welcome, and good morning. Let's engage. So, Gabriela, we love to hear from our guest speakers in terms of not only their cultural background, but what is it that you do, and how did you get to what you're doing today as a leader at such an amazing company?
Well, I am so fortunate. I've had a long career, all in Latin America, and most recently in the US. So I started my career in Costa Rica in the pharmaceutical industry, and then, progressed from there, going to managing a business for another pharmaceutical company in Argentina, then ended up in Colombia, managing a few countries, and finally moved to Johnson & Johnson Medical Devices, now called Johnson & Johnson Medical Technologies. And there I have been vice president for a few businesses in Latin America, cardiological businesses, orthopedics businesses, and most recently moved to the US for this role called Global Strategic Capabilities, which is all about building our brand solutions or developing our brands, the Johnson & Johnson MedTech brand, the DePuy brand, and all the digital engagement experiences. So I have a team that owns all of the websites and all of the digital ecosystems to engage with our customers, be it healthcare professionals or non-clinical professionals that work in hospitals, and with patients that use our products as well. So it's all about how we communicate and in the modern, doing modern marketing, so to speak.
Yeah, I heard a lot about digital. I heard a lot about technology. Specifically, what stood out was the med tech piece, right? Like everything is like you see ed tech, med tech, like um I think everything has technology component to it. Since we are having a Latinas in Tech cohort coming up, can you speak a little bit more about what that piece is for your business, for the business, I should say.
Which piece?
The med
Sorry.
tech one?
Oh, the med tech.
Yeah.
There's an evolution, right, from
Yeah.
medical devices. So medical devices is, anything from a suture to sew you up in a surgery to an implant, a hip replacement, a knee replacement. So that's what we call medical devices. And
Mhm.
if you've ever been in a hospital and have had surgery, it's very likely that you've had a Johnson & Johnson product. So the evolution of medical devices to medical technology is when that device starts generating data, it starts connecting to your implants, it starts giving information back to the
Mm.
surgeon, and it creates an ecosystem where we can learn from implants, connect implants to wearables. And so that's the evolution, right? We call it even digital surgery. It includes robotics, right? Robotics also give us a lot of data that our surgeons can use when they're performing a surgery. Are they in the right place? Is the cut going at the right angle? So visualizing, augmented reality. And that's why we're starting to call it med tech as
Mhm.
opposed to medical devices, right? Because now it's not just the device, it's all of the technology that is enabling the surgery to happen differently, and it's also connecting the patient back to everything that's happening and giving him information on, how the implant went and how it's doing, and that's our vision for the
Yeah.
future.
Super fascinating. I think I find it. I see
It
some
is.
people that
It
are
is.
talking about bringing back to the their childhood using the products, right? And I can attest to that as well. It's such pride to have a Latina leading such a big business, right? For such a big corporation, and so those of you in the chat, get your questions ready, and if you want to get to meet Gabriela in person. She'll be at our National Leadership Summit and is one of our featured speakers for our plenary panel that's taking place during the luncheon. So we're super excited to have not only Gabriela, but there's the Johnson & Johnson Familia that is joining us as a corporate champion for the event. And we're super grateful for that. Can you tell us, Gabriela, a little bit more about why partnerships like this important and what should folks be looking forward to? And then what is J&J looking forward to at this event? I know we have quite a few team members or employees that are joining us.
We are really looking forward to meeting people as potential talent. So we do go to HACE with the mindset of recruiting, and I will tell you why. As we start, Hispanics start coming into the company, we like to see more Hispanics be successful and join us. So what we want to do is get more Hispanic talent in our slates. When we are selecting for positions at all levels, we really want to bring diversity to the slate. We always select the best talent, but it will not be Hispanic talent unless we have that pipeline coming in,
Mm-hmm.
unless we have, people sitting in the slate that can be interviewed also by a diverse panel, right? We tried to get Hispanics to be part of the interview panel as well. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for great talent. Let me tell you, we're mining.
Thank you. We've got some users saying thank you to Johnson & Johnson for their support. So you heard it. If you are looking for that next opportunity and you're interested in learning more about Johnson & Johnson, make sure you join us at the summit next week, April 21st and 22nd. Gabriela, I know because we got to chit chat a little bit more before, is that you're also involved with the ERG groups and with just diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives throughout for your company. So can you share a little bit more about that, and then we'll open it up to some questions or through from the audience that are tuning in today.
Yeah, I can call it a parallel career in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've led the diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts for Johnson & Johnson Latin America for a few years. I've sat on different advisory boards. I sit on the Women's Leadership and Inclusion Employee Resource Group globally, and we talk about female career advancement. More recently, working at DePuy I also am involved in a group called Women of Orthopedics. So orthopedics is a specialty that it does not have a lot of gender diversity. So we're really trying to champion the industry and working externally on how we can get more women to select orthopedics as a specialty. So I'm very passionate about that. I strongly believe that there is a multiplier effect in bringing different perspectives to the table. It really sparks innovation. It sparks conversations that would never happen otherwise when everybody looks the same. I just love having those perspectives. I love people speaking up and bringing their unique perspective to the table. I think it makes us all better, and it definitely enhances all the work that we're doing.
Wonderful. Yes, we agree with that. We thank you for your support of HACE and being at the National Leadership Summit next week. One of the biggest questions that we always get from our audience, and feel free to drop those questions in the chat or in the comments, I should say, is about career advancement. Like, we have a lot of folks that are going through our leadership trainings, are participating in HACE, that are in varied industries, corporations that are looking to advance. They want to become leaders within the company. What advice would you have that you would say that resonates for you in terms of how you've gotten to have an executive level role?
Well, it works differently for everyone. I think people see career advancement as something that is vertical, and that's what it looks like. You go up, and up. I don't see it that way. I think career advancement is about learning and getting experiences so that at every new role that you have, you bring something different. You're learning something new. So every new position that I've been handed, that I've been lucky to get, I've always asked the question, am I learning something that I didn't know before, right? And sometimes I'll tell myself, that position, not learning anything new, not that interested. That position might not be a promotion, it might be a lateral move, but I'm going to learn a ton of new things. And I think that has given me learning agility. It's given me a broader perspective on how to look at different aspects of the business, having been in sales, having been in marketing, having had a local role, a regional role, now a global role. You bring different things to the table. I tell people, don't look at it as something vertical. Look at it as you're gaining experience with every new job. And, that's how I look at it. It's a learning journey.
Will I be learning something new? That's so a great question to ask yourself when you're looking for that opportunity, and to not focus on necessarily, right? I heard title or if it's a lateral or up, looking at that. So we have another question is, any advice do you have for young professionals of color specifically wanting to break into the pharmaceutical industry?
Oh, there are, It's a great industry. There's a lot of positions that open up for younger talent,
Mm-hmm.
especially sales consultants. I think also uh, entering the world of pharmaceuticals through sales is fantastic. Even if you don't intend to stay in sales for a really long time, it you learn everything by being out there, right? You know your customer, you know how they think, you know how they
Mm-hmm.
you know what their problems are, you know what things you're trying to solve for. So I think sales is a great way to enter the world of pharmaceuticals, even if eventually you end up, you know, doing something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also a lot of roles in designing products or in you know, engineering and medical devices, which is where I have more experience. We see a lot of young folks coming in as design engineers, and there's also a lot of space there.
So lots of opportunities, lots of ways to get your foot in the door with the industry. Make sure to learn more. Their roles are posted on the ASIC Career Center as well. And of course, you can go directly to their website and meet. And if you want to meet folks in person, join us at the summit next week as well. Gabriela, we're super excited to have you next week. I know we'll be having a lot of your colleagues, and then you specifically featured on the plenary luncheon panel that we'll be having at the event on the 21st as well. Anything that you're most hopeful for the remainder of this year?
I am most hopeful for it. You know, that is a very difficult question. I think I'll put it to you differently. I mean, there's Hispanics are known for being optimistic
Hmm.
and being hopeful, I think, is one of our strengths in general. I'm hopeful about many things. We're going through a lot the past couple
Yeah.
of years, even this year. You know, everything that we see in the news is quite um, discouraging. And I think one of the interesting things about us as Hispanics is we always tend to have a very optimistic view on life, and hopeful
Hmm.
is and we're hopeful about everything. Even, you know, things are going to get resolved. We're hopeful that things are going to get resolved. We're hopeful that we're getting out of the pandemic. We're hopeful that this is going to work, right? We always
Hmm.
tend to have a positive mindset and a positive outlook. Even when you see, you know, the ranking of happiest countries in the world, sometimes it has nothing to do with reality, right? It
Yeah.
has to do with outlook and mindset. So I tend to be very optimistic. It helps me every day. And I think there's a cultural aspect to that as well.
I agree. And I think it's such, it really shows and is an example as to why we're such a resilient community is because of
Absolutely.
that positive mindset. And we need to continue to lean into that in our careers and in our day to day, our personal life, because to your point, with everything that's going on around the world. And so I am hopeful that next week we're going to instill a lot more inspiration in folks, get folks taking action, making some amazing connections at ASIS National Leadership Summit. Come and meet Gabriela, connect with her on LinkedIn next week on April 21st and 22nd. Thank you, Gabriela, for taking time to join us today in our Cafecito con ACE. And to everyone, please continue to engage in the chat and connect with one another. And see you at our special edition of Cafecito con ACE Live next week during our summit. Gracias a todos. Gracias, Gabriela. Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias,
Hasta la
Patricia.
próxima. Until next time.
Entonces,
Bye
más adelante.
bye. Thanks.